Hello, I'm Luke Simon, Principal and CEO of Bankstown Community College. Our college is an award-winning adult education and training provider offering general interest and nationally accredited courses to the local community. Bankstown Community College is a registered training organisation accredited by the Australian Skills Quality Authority, and its qualifications are recognised across Australia. Our courses include English language, children's services, literacy, beauty, computer training, cake decorating, yoga, photography, languages, and 50 other courses commencing throughout the year. For course information and starting dates, please visit our website at www.bankstowncc.com.au. Catch up with us on Facebook and Twitter, or simply call us on 9793 8155. That's 9793 8155. Bankstown Community College is proud to be a major sponsor of Bankstown Auburn Community Radio.
Hey, zombie man, gonna put you in the can. Hey, zombie man. Hey, zombie man.
My name is Bridget and I'm here with Rachel. One of our
You'll notice that Stephanie is missing.
She is missing. She's on a
Tonight
brief
the role of
hiatus.
Stephanie will be played by Bridget.
Yes. Hello.
So I tried to do the Jafar thing, you know, in Aladdin where the genie's like, today the part of Al will be played by an ugly man. I was like,
Excuse me. Oh. Okay, well tonight, yes, she's on a brief hiatus, so it's just the two of us. Sorry if you tuned in expecting the three of us.
yeah, if you tuned in just for Stephanie, I'm very sorry. We will have to do.
The sarcasm meter just went up. But tonight we're talking about
I'm
a few
surprised
topics.
the sarcasm meter isn't one of these buttons. Yep, go on. Topics, Bridget, go.
Topics, yes. Okay, so tonight we're talking about travel. Traveling by yourself, traveling with people. Do you travel well with others? How do you travel? Do you travel cheap? Do you stay in hostels, hotels? What do you do when you travel? And we're also going to be reviewing the movie Sliding Doors. A bit of a strange twist for this show to remove the comedy. But anyway.
In the meantime, we'll get straight into the music. This is Pompeii by Bastille on 2BACR 100.9 FM.
Thank God. Can you see if that's pushed in? The mic? Can you push...
What? The headphones. You're on air, by the way.
Really? Oh, God.
I thought you saw me put the volume up. Anyway.
No, my microphone is not working. My headphones.
Oh, your headphones aren't working.
Yeah. Hi, everyone.
I don't know, maybe the headphones are broken. Hey, everyone. Our headphones aren't working.
Yes.
I don't know, I can't tell if mine are working. Go on, say something.
We're going to be talking about travel.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, well, this is
Oh,
good.
well,
We've got like these...
Take those out.
We're still working out the kinks here. Can we edit this out if we do a podcast?
We can.
All right, good.
I'm not that good at podcasting. I'm worse at podcasting than I am at fiddling with these buttons.
I fear for the podcast.
For anybody who is listening at home and has been planning to record the show, you don't need to. We will be getting you some podcasts.
In the
from
very
our catalogue
distant
of shows.
future.
Yeah, I mean, we're planning near future.
We do have jobs and other stuff.
We have TV to watch and food to eat.
Yep, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Trips to go on.
Trips to go on. So don't hold your breath waiting for the podcast. Speaking of trips to go on, Japan.
Yes. Okay, I am going to Japan on Saturday with a couple of friends, Steph being one of them.
Including co-hosts. So next week I'm down 2 co-hosts.
Yeah, next week it's possibly just going to be Rachel. Excuse us while we laugh.
The prospect is so funny. Okay, go on.
Okay.
So you've done a lot of travel before, though.
I have done a bit of travel.
You know Steph and Karen quite well. You've travelled with Karen before. How do you reckon they're going to be as travel buddies?
I think we're all going to be pretty good.
Despite that high pitch,
Yeah, I think I'm thrown off by you not telling me that we're on air.
The light is on.
Yeah, but the light was on and you're like, we're not on air, don't worry.
Okay, we should worry. Okay, so are you at all worried about travelling with those two?
Okay, well, I have travelled with Karen a couple of times. I think Europe, Uluru, and bear in mind, Uluru was 55-degree heat. If you can be patient in that heat, I think you're good. We didn't seem to get on each other's nerves.
Were you patient in that heat?
I think I was. I drove like almost 600 kilometres in one day in 55-degree heat. Yes, I got that message too. The show is falling apart.
No, we're going to show her. We've had some
It's
input
too
from
late.
Steph.
Abandon ship.
The show is falling apart without her. It's not. We can save it.
Okay, yeah.
Get some buckets and go start heaping the water overboard. I'll patch up the holes.
Why are you recording this show? Okay, so I think that we'll travel pretty well. I mean, the best thing, traveling with your friends is the best thing, because I have traveled on my own for about 3 weeks. Basically, I picked everywhere that I needed to go, like that was on my list of places to go before I went home.
I need to get tissues, we're out of toilet paper, that sort of to-do list.
Sort of like, I need to go to Prague, I need to go to Budapest.
I need to go to Budapest.
I need to go, yes. So I travelled for 3 weeks on my own, and at first it was also it was in about 0-degree weather.
The exact opposite of Uluru.
Yeah, around the same time. It was January the year before that. Yeah. So I travelled on my own for 3 weeks, and, it's dark at 8:30. It's dark at 3:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
You've got those few hours of sunlight. Basically, there's not a lot to do at night except freeze.
Which you didn't partake in, I guess.
No, I went pretty well. I think the only part of my body that was exposed to air was like from my eyes down to my mouth. I was seriously rugged up. But the problem with traveling on your own is, one major problem for me is photos, because I love taking photos, and you have to find someone to take a photo because you need proof that you've been there.
Yeah.
So that's a problem. But the best thing for that is going on walking tours. And that's also the best thing for traveling cheap. Free walking tours.
I'm a fan of the free walking tour. Do you think that, because I've done a bit of travelling on my own and travelling with others.
Yeah.
When I was in Beijing, I did a lot of tours and things with other people, but I was mostly on my own, as in I wasn't with any friends or people that I knew.
Yeah.
But being part of a tour, you could always get other people on the tour to take photos for you.
Yeah.
Which for me was fine, because I had a normal camera. We just press a button. Other people getting me to take photos of them on their iPhones, I had to take my glove off to press the freaking iPhone button.
Yeah, it doesn't recognise.
That annoyed me to no end.
Yeah, also my camera, a bit of a problem there, because it was this SLR camera that people just don't seem to know how to zoom on those things. So you would just get very strange photos. But
I don't even remember somebody taking that photo. What an idiot. Yeah.
Yeah. So but it worked out all right.
Yeah.
I think traveling on my own.
So do you reckon the problem with traveling, the difference is that when you're on your own, you can do whatever you want.
Yes.
Stay somewhere wherever you want, spend as much time somewhere as you want. Whereas when you're with other people, it's like, oh my God, you've been staring at the Mona Lisa for an hour. I want to leave.
That
sort
was
of problem.
Speaking of the Mona Lisa, that was a bit of a problem with the Louvre, going through there. Basically, me and a friend were a little bit over museums, I think.
I do remember this story.
Yes.
Not from you and the friend, from the other friend.
Yeah. From the other friend.
Basically, there were 3 of you, 2 of you were kind of over museums. You wanted to see the highlights and leave. Somebody else wanted to really take in the Louvre, because it's the Louvre, yeah.
Also, I was a little bit annoyed because I had a visa, a UK visa, and I didn't ask about that. I didn't have my passport on me, and I was told that if I had that visa, I could get in for free.
Oh, okay.
And that put me in a bit of a bad mood. I was on a very tight budget. Not that it was that expensive. But yeah, we just saw the highlights and left. And that made the friend who wanted to go through the whole entire Louvre, which, can I stress, the Louvre is huge.
The Louvre's big, yeah.
The Louvre is really big. But she didn't say that she wanted to do that. That's one thing that when you're traveling with people, you might be afraid to say. oh, I want to do this. You know, this is something that I really want to do. If you want to go see a site and the other people don't want to do that, will you go off on your own just for a day?
Yeah, and you'll be fine.
But a lot of people don't.
Do you reckon that you and Steph and Karen, other friend, as we seem to be calling her today, do you reckon you guys are going to be on point with doing the same things, same page?
I think pretty much, yeah, because we've mapped out the trip.
Mapped up perfectly. Awesome. We'll get back into some music now. This is Band of Horses on 2BACR 100.9 FM. And you're back on 2BACR listening to Wednesday Night Zombie Fever. And we have a caller. Wow. Yep. So what is your travel story?
Well, I went to Tasmania a while ago with a couple of friends. There was, I think, 8 people in total.
Yeah.
And we all brought our own luggage, our carry-on, and our checked bags and all that kind of stuff, except one couple decided not to bring a checked bag, which is, up to them if they want to fit all their luggage into the carry-on, except that their bag was too big coming back.
Yeah, that's a risk.
So they went up to the person who wanted to check them in to get onto the plane, and she's like, your bag is too big, it didn't fit in that little box thing that measures the bag. And she's like, the bag is too big, you have to pay for it or put it in with somebody else's luggage. So they didn't end up having to pay for it. They put it in with somebody else's luggage. But this guy spent ages arguing with the woman because his bag was too big to get on the plane in carry-on. Yep. And then he sent a complaint to the airline later on.
And this was something that he should have known, right? Like, this was on the tickets and everything?
They knew when they got on the plane in Tasmania, in New South Wales, because they had to hide their bag, like, behind them before they could actually get on the plane. So they had snuck the bag on the plane in the first place. So they knew. And then he made a complaint coming back, and that just really ticked me off. So I don't think I'll be travelling with them again.
Who in your team decided to let them throw their stuff in their bag?
Oh, another couple decided that, because their bags weren't, they were under the weight limit.
See, I would have said...
Throw that bag in with them. Yep.
I would have said, screw you guys, you have to pay for your bag like we did.
Well, I would say, like, if I had room, then I'd offer it, but
these guys were intentionally trying to avoid paying for a bag, right?
I've done that.
Avoid it, yep.
I have tried to get away with just carry-on, and I have ended up having to pay a lot of money, but I paid it.
Yeah, exactly.
Not only that, though, not only did they try and get away with not having to pay money, they didn't end up having to pay anything, and they also got money back from the airline, because they complained about the lady service.
Oh, what?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
bad.
That is bad.
There are some airlines just charge these extortionate fees.
Ryanair. Yes.
And some others. Because you guys don't have checked bags, do you?
No, we do.
But it wasn't included in the fare.
No, you have to pay on top of that.
Yeah.
You have to pay
to Japan.
Quite a bit to Japan, yes. Because if you decide to pick a checked bag at the same time that you book the flight, it's a lot cheaper than if you add it later on. And you don't even get 20 kilos.
How much do you have?
15 kilos.
Yeah.
Not a huge difference, but they definitely know how to get your money.
5 kilo medicine ball will have to go.
Yeah.
If you're planning on that kind. Well, thanks for that call, Steph,
our co-host.
Are we doing better?
Not right at this moment.
Oh, great.
Because you asked me.
Okay, we're doing great until he said that. Okay, well, thanks, Steph. We'll try to improve your show for you.
Yeah.
All right, see you guys.
Bye.
Bye, Steph. I don't know how to get rid of her.
And
She's
we're
gone.
improving.
Yeah, obviously, like, checked bags are a big thing. Because I know that that's kind of how a lot of airlines cheapen their tickets, by getting rid of checked bags and then charging for them.
Yes. Ryanair it's an Irish airline that is huge in Europe, if you don't know. And one thing I tried to do on almost every flight with Ryanair in my 3 weeks of travel, so quite a few flights, I tried to just get away with carry-on luggage, and every time they actually have a portable scale, and they will bring it. they will bring it to the gate and they will weigh your bag, and they have a cardboard box and they will put that against your bag to see if it is bigger than that.
Wow. So sort of like what they have for little kids on carnival rides.
Yeah.
If your bag can fit under a certain height, it can ride the Ferris wheel.
Yep.
Also known as the plane.
They bring that around to the gate. I also actually just saw in the news this week or last week, Brian McFadden travelling on Ryanair. He didn't have access to a printer, and he would have had to pay the equivalent of about $110 for Ryanair to print a boarding pass.
What?
They charge you through the roof. But it's not like they don't advertise that you need to have your boarding pass and that. But that's quite excessive.
Yeah. It's always when you know that, because I think, a lot of places have extortionate prices for things, but it's when you can tell that it doesn't cost them that much to do that.
Yes.
It probably costs them about $5 to print off the freaking ticket.
Yeah.
Why would they charge that much?
But then they actually came back with a sarcastic apology to him because he ranted about it on Twitter. And they came back and said, sorry, but, 30 million or however many million people manage to do that every year. So why couldn't you?
Oh.
That's not good customer service. So when
Backslap from Ryanair.
It's all
Ryanair's
over the
renowned
internet.
for this, though, isn't it?
There's a
add-ons.
website. Someone made a website saying, I hate Ryanair, but it turned out that because they had Ryanair in the name, Ryanair had rights to that and made money off it because they sued him.
Oh, maybe Channel 9 should have made some money off that Channel 9's Olympic coverage sucks Facebook page.
Yeah, they probably should have. But Ryanair is definitely a big offender in my book because I probably paid over €80 in baggage fees.
But that's kind of their thing, right? Like, they're a budget airline, so you can get really cheap stuff. They're really cheap if you want to get from point A to point B. Anything else is expensive, right?
Yeah, you can get £9 flights. Like, that's nothing. You can get more expensive lunches.
It's sort of like, I think, possibly the closest equivalent would be Jetstar here, where you can get, $29 trips to Melbourne. It's to an airport that's actually quite a way out of Melbourne. You can't take any bags with you, and you have to, stand in the emergency exit the whole time or something. Like, there's catches.
You have to do your research because when I went to Munich, I realised I wasn't actually going to Munich. I was going about 2 hours away from Munich and had to get a bus. So that was a bit of a pain, but it was worth it.
Yeah, because it was a cheaper flight.
I love how it says on the website it has Munich, and then in brackets it will say the actual airport, like the actual place. So you have to be careful with that.
Sydney, in brackets, Badgerys Creek. Yeah. Well, this is a request from one of our listeners. This is 5 Until Time Is Through on 2BACR 100.9 FM.
This is Wednesday Night Zombie Fever. So we're still talking about travel, and we've moved on from baggage. Now I want to know about hostels.
Yeah. Your personal baggage is your own problem, guys.
Yeah, your problem and your bank account's problem. So I want to talk about hostels versus hotels, or a cheap holiday as opposed to a maybe not overly expensive holiday, but, a bit more luxury.
So basically, money versus comfort.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
In a nutshell.
Yep. I think we've both stayed in both.
Yes. I've stayed in more hostels than hotels, I would say. But
it's a pretty obvious trade-off, isn't it? I mean, one of them,
you're paying for someone to make your bed. You get a towel. There's lots of little catches that maybe people don't realise about hostels that they're bringing in these days. If you want a towel, I don't know why you wouldn't have your own towel going to a hostel, but if you want a towel from the hostel, you have to pay for that. If you want sheets, you generally have to pay for them. And you're going to need sheets.
It's pretty basic, and then in some hostels you have to put the sheets in the little laundry basket yourself.
Yep.
Shared bathrooms, shared dorms is obviously the big one.
Yep. The shared bathroom seems to annoy people more than the actual shared dorm. I think once you get over the fact that people you don't know will be in the same room sleeping, everyone is just there to sleep. Everyone who goes to a hostel goes for the same reason.
You've seen the movie Hostel?
Don't see the movie Hostel. I haven't actually seen it,
like
but that's...
for the most part. I mean, it's sort of like anybody, you could be mugged walking down any street.
Yeah,
So-
especially in Europe.
Yeah. I mean, you know the risks, pretty much, when
Yeah.
you're sleeping with a bunch of other people, which is now like...
Sorry?
That comment would come across.
Yeah, so the thing with hostels, you have to do your research, and you have to come prepared. You have to bring a towel. That's my first recommendation because that's gross. A towel and a padlock and key. You definitely need that. They generally have lockers that, funnily enough, they lock. You need to do that. If you have a camera or a laptop,
Anything valuable. I mean, passport, wallet, which they're usually going to be on your person.
Yes.
I've never used the phrase on your person before. But you're probably going to have those with you, so it's something you're not so aware of. But I feel like if you are going to be travelling a lot through hostels, you should really limit the amount of valuable things that you have.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can't avoid it.
Yeah, you can't really avoid having a camera. If you're travelling, you're going to have a camera.
Yeah, definitely. But that camera is going to be out all day with you.
Yeah.
And you're going to be there at night with it. But I think it's a trust system. I have stayed in a hostel. This isn't really security related, although I have heard of someone having their shoes stolen.
I've had some really bad hostel stories, but I haven't I don't have any bad hostel stories myself.
I don't really either. But a hostel that I stayed at in Stockholm, it's apparently a Swedish custom that you take off your shoes. So you had to take off your shoes when you came in the door and put them on a shelf. And I really didn't want to do that. Mainly because I only had one pair of shoes when I was traveling. So if I lost that pair, I would be so stuffed. But hotels, on the other hand, I mean, I think people actually become more fussy when they've got a hotel, like at a hostel.
People get a little crazy. I know, like, with a hostel, you know the standard. If anything, you kind of underestimate
how
a
good
hostel.
it'll be.
You think about how bad it's going to be,
Yeah.
about these people sleeping with knives so nobody touches their stuff.
Yeah, all these nightmarish stories that you hear.
Yeah, you hear all of the bad ones, whereas a hotel, you have the highest of expectations, and for some of them, you really are paying a premium, so you expect nothing to go wrong. It's, I guess, the same. I mean, we mentioned airlines before, but if you travel on Ryanair, you expect a whole bunch of add-ons. You've got these terrible expectations, whereas if you book with Qantas and you're paying, more than some of the other airlines, you expect nothing to go wrong. So when there's a child crying beside you, or the movies that you want aren't showing like they say they're showing in the booklet, that's the biggest first world problem I think I've ever had. I was so mad. And or when they get to your row and you've got to choose the beef because they're out of the chicken, and you're like, what the hell?
Oh, I can't believe that. It's
on Ryanair, you don't even
shocking.
get food.
But yeah, I got angry in New Zealand because I asked for 2 queen beds and I got 2 double beds.
But you're paying for a certain thing. I mean, I know that some, obviously with hotels, there's a huge range of prices. Some of them are cheaper than others, just like hostels. They're just the cheapest, the lowest of the low in many cases.
Yep.
Hotels, you're paying a lot, so you expect a lot. So maybe that's why you get a little more...
You get very fussy. Yeah. But I actually prefer hostels. I mean, it definitely depends on who you go with.
Yeah.
And the type of holiday that you have. But hostels, they're pretty good, especially if you are traveling alone. They're really good because they generally have a good vibe. They have common rooms. They might have a bar.
Yeah, just so long as if you're traveling by yourself, you know the risks.
Yes.
So if you're aware of them, you should be fine.
Yes.
Especially if you can get gender dorms, as in if you can go in an all-girls dorm, or if you're a boy, or boys' dorms. I mean, I think specifically girls.
Yes.
In that case. I've stayed in mixed dorms before. I've stayed in quite a lot of
I've stayed in many
dorms.
mixed dorms. I did have to... I thought it was a bit weird staying in the same, just gender dorm. I think it's better staying in a mixed, because it's just conversation and everything.
Well, I mean, one of the benefits that I guess people sort of don't think about when they're staying in, especially 8-bedroom dorms, is that, yes, you might have one crazy, but it also means that there's potentially 6 other people there.
Yes.
That means if anything happens, you've got a lot of witnesses, you've got a lot of backup there if anything does go down.
Yeah,
right?
It's pretty safe.
The chances of 7 crazies being in there with you
They're
is
quite
pretty
low. Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever stayed in a mixed dorm by myself. Like,
have.
I've stayed in one where, when I was in Denmark, everyone was part of, like, we were all one group,
Yeah.
a mixed dorm. And then when I was in
That's the
Berlin
best.
with you, there was a couple of us who were also, like, in that same dorm.
Yeah.
Um,
I've
but then
stayed
it was
in a
in
few.
Canberra also things.
I stayed in Munich. I remember there was this South Korean guy who was very fascinated by my beanie and got a bit weird. But I've stayed in a 26-bed female dorm, £3 a
26?
night, and they were the best beds ever. So that was like $5 a night. But
And that's the benefit.
yeah,
$5 a night.
it was.
Yeah. Whereas if you want to complain, if you want people to cater for you and everything, and if you really are paranoid and you really want that security,
Go to a hotel.
go to a hotel. That being said, you could have problems at a hotel as well.
Yeah.
'Cause they're not perfect.
If you are looking at a hostel, though, hostelworld.com is a very good website.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
Yeah. Cool. So we do have a lot of song requests coming in. So later tonight we'll be playing Music Sounds Better With You by Stardust. We'll be playing Resolution by Matt Corby. In the meantime, this is Brian Adams with Summer of 69, followed by Don McLean with American Pie on 2BACR 100.9 FM.
And welcome back to Wednesday Night Zombie Fever on 100.9 FM, 2BACR. And so now we're talking about the movie review, which is Sliding Doors.
Yes, Gwyneth Paltrow.
Gwyneth Paltrow. That's pretty much the only memorable actor in it. You probably wouldn't recognise some of the other people, but one of them is John Hannah. You probably don't recognise the name, but he's the funny guy in The Mummy, the brother.
Oh, I love that guy.
Doesn't everyone?
Yes.
And he's just as likable in this film.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's from 1997, so it's a bit out of date now. It's funny when you see a shot of London, there's no London Eye, and I think people forget how new the London Eye is. And it was also meant to be temporary, just side note.
Cool.
Yeah.
Bit of trivia.
Yep, so it's a romantic comedy, and this one, it has a bit of a twist. Generally, a romantic comedy, we all know the plot, and I wouldn't recommend paying money to go see it at the movies. You know what's going to happen.
Well, it depends. If that's your thing, you can go pay for it at the movies. But it's the
yeah.
same with horror movies. I mean, you know what that is, so you can't complain that a romantic comedy is a romantic comedy.
True. I mean,
Yeah.
my personal thing, I guess.
Because you don't really like romantic comedies.
I actually do.
Okay.
But I wouldn't go to the movies and pay like $18
Okay.
to see one. It's more of it's on TV tonight, I'll watch it.
Okay.
Or DVD.
Or rent it.
Yeah.
On Tuesdays.
So this one, maybe it's because it's sort of, I think it's British-American production. Maybe that's why it's a bit different to the standard, like, Jennifer Aniston movie. But basically, the twist is that when she's getting on a train, instead, in one shot, there's a girl in front of her and she has to move out of the way. So she misses getting her train. But then it reverses and it goes back and the girl gets out of the way in time and she makes her train. So then it diverges into these two timelines.
So parallel storylines throughout the
Yeah.
film.
And in one of them, she gets home, finds her boyfriend cheating on her, breaks
Whoops.
up with him, meets a guy. In the other storyline, where she doesn't make her train, she gets home late. She stays with the boyfriend.
Ooh. Sorry.
He's a pathetic loser.
Okay.
He's a writer.
Is he one of those characters that's like really obviously a rat to the audience? And they're all thinking, come on.
Pretty much. I mean, he's a bit of a doormat and he doesn't know what to do. But he's cheating on
Well,
her.
apparently he was doing the other girl. Sorry, go on.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Everything's being hit around here. So basically the thing that I like about this film is that 1 second where she could have gotten the train. And it changes everything. But she still, in one storyline, she goes through all the pain, like she finds out later on that the boyfriend is cheating on her because she didn't get the train home. And then
Which is a terrible reason to cheat on someone, just because they didn't catch the train.
Oh, she's the stuck-up American that he's cheating on her with. Although Gwyneth Paltrow is American. But yeah, basically, I like the two storylines. I like the two alternate realities and how they kind of round it up at the end. And it ends up being kind of like fate, that she meets the guy anyway. But out of 10, I think I would give it 7.
Was it told well in terms of where they've edited these two stories together? Does it work well?
It works really well, especially because, of course, after a breakup, you get a haircut.
So, you do, yeah.
Yeah. So she gets her haircut very short and dyed blonde. So the one where she caught the train home, she's short with blonde hair. And in the one where she doesn't get the train home, she's still got the long brown hair.
So
it's very easy
to differentiate the two different storytelling.
It's very well directed. So, yeah, 7 out of 10.
Cool. Well, we do have some more song requests coming in. This is what happens. I play one person's song request and then I say more and they actually keep coming. Do you know how many song requests we've gotten over the last about 10 minutes?
1?
More than everything we've gotten in the previous 10 shows.
5?
4. Anyway, so we'll be back. So obviously the concept of the film is
Fate. So we're going to talk about fate or strange coincidences in your life.
Whether or not you believe in fate. Because you do.
I do.
I don't.
Maybe it's because I've seen this movie too many times.
Cool. Well, we'll be back. Let us know on Facebook. What are your thoughts? Fate. Real or fake?
Nay.
And if you've got any strange coincidence stories or any fateful stories, let us know as well. This is Stardust with Music Sounds Better With You on 2BACR 100.9 FM. And you're back on Wednesday Night Zombie Fever on 2BACR 100.9 FM. That was a request from one of our listeners. I've got some more requests coming up. We will be playing Green Day's Good Riddance.
We will.
Yeah. Also known by some as Time of Your Life.
Doesn't it have that in brackets after Good Riddance?
Okay, it does. So I'll give you that, Steph.
Half a gold star.
Who has been blowing up our phones for the past about 5 minutes telling us to play her request. We'll play your request.
It's okay. Calm down.
Do it.
All right, so we're talking about fate or strange coincidences. Do you believe in fate? Have you had any strange coincidences happen to you? I mean, sometimes it's a scarily small world.
It is, and here's the thing. I remember our last debate.
Yes.
Pirates versus ninjas.
Yes.
Now, basically, we had to set up some ground rules. So we're all arguing on the same page. So, here's our definition of fate.
Yes.
Right. It's a noun. A.
Great.
Okay.
Continue.
Same page. Good. None of this arguing that fate's an adjective crap, right? Ooh, stuff. So first, the supposed force, principle, or power that predetermines events.
All right.
B, the inevitable events predestined by that force. Or, it's a final result or consequence, an outcome, unfavourable destiny or doom, and then you've got the fates, like Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos from Greek and Roman mythology. That's off, no.
That doesn't relate.
Because, I mean, maybe we can solve this right now. I don't believe in them. You?
In those?
In the 3 fates, cutting people's life.
I do not believe in that.
Yeah, okay, good. Woo, win. Easier. So back to the music and no. Okay, so fate, basically something predestined to happen, destiny in a way.
Yes. Well, because I think everyone's decisions, everything that you've ever decided upon has led you right up until that moment. So when you bump into someone or when something happens and it works out in your favour, everything that you've done, everything that everyone has done, that's worked out in your favour. Or you've bumped into that person, probably for a reason. But, I mean, if nothing happens...
But do you think that it's only when something goes your way then?
And I don't know. I believe in karma too. If something bad happens, you probably...
Now, here's the thing. Listeners of the show are going to know that ghosts are real, basically. So I believe in ghosts.
I didn't mean to make that noise.
Yeah, but I don't really believe in fate.
I don't believe in ghosts.
And I do have some... Yeah. Agree to disagree. So, yeah, I don't really think that something predetermines events, that something is fated to happen. I think that, for the most part, you get your own outcomes. Yeah. So if you...
It's just a
you
roll
can
of the
obviously make
dice.
things happen. But, if you work hard, it could work out, it could not work out. But you can't say, well, it was fated to happen, or is fated to not happen, if that makes sense. I do have some backup on this, though. One of our listeners has said... One of our listeners, former co-hosts... Oh, yeah, former, Steph. Pay attention. Has said that
was a
fate
joke.
is... No, I don't know... Okay, to be fair, Steph didn't hear us at the beginning of the show when you said that you believed in fate and I said that I didn't.
Okay.
So, just give her a little leeway with her phrasing here. Also, fate is not real, just a reason for people to be lazy. Leave it to fate. Laziest sentence ever.
I would never say leave it to fate.
Yeah.
I just think that, some things were definitely meant to be. Like, you're meant to see that person again. You were meant to get that job, Every single decision. I mean, it's amazing, like, how many people out there...
Well, I would definitely say that, like, your decisions and your actions lead to certain outcomes, but that's different than something that you can't control leading to an outcome. Saying that it was meant to be or it was fated to happen.
Yeah.
Because I think you make your own choices. You make your own decisions, and so do other people. Somebody chooses to hire you for a job. Somebody else, a human person, chooses to look at your resume again or something like that. Somebody chooses to text you when they know that it's going to make a noise in your pocket because it's been doing that all night. Go on.
Yeah, there is this funny little function called silent.
There is. But apparently, Steph stands by what she says, apparently. So, yeah, I don't know. Would you say that fate is different to destiny? Because I don't think that...
Yeah,
I don't know.
I guess so.
I think I would love to believe in destiny. According to my destiny, by the way, I'm going to rule the planet, just so you all know that's happening. But
I imagine that kind of Pinky and the Brain-esque.
It is, actually.
But anyway.
For the past 24 years, people have been going, what are you doing tonight, Rachel? I've been trying to take over the world, and I failed, which is a good thing for humanity.
You are. You're the brain. Okay, moving on.
Oh my God, I think the best thing I've ever been called is the brain. Nobody's ever called me the brain of an operation before.
Oh, but this is within the context.
Pinky.
No, it doesn't. If anyone would be Pinky, it would be Steph.
Because she's not here to defend herself.
But anyway, we're not talking about Pinky and the Brain. By the way, it's not really the best compliment when it's within the context of Pinky and the Brain.
Yeah. But I have to say that as much as I don't really believe in something that just happens to work out, and I think the reason I don't really believe in fate and destiny is because I work really hard to get to be unable to turn my phone on to silent. I worked really hard to get through uni. I worked really hard, to get to where I want to go. That somebody would suggest that it was meant to happen would kind of be detrimental. It would kind of undermine all the hard work that I would have put in to get somewhere.
Okay, well, I guess I wasn't really thinking about it like that. And yes, please do put that on silent.
I don't know.
But
Go on.
I guess, I wasn't really thinking about it like that. But I just think that some coincidences are just...
Well, I do believe in coincidences. But I think there's a difference between fate and then, because there's definitely 6 degrees of separation, right? That time when, you see someone and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Or just odd coincidences around.
I would just like to give an example, which I thought was it was pretty amazing. I mean, We were in Berlin.
Oh, can I tell the Berlin story?
Yes, you
Okay.
can.
So, yeah, we were in Berlin at this random restaurant,
Yep.
and we heard that this is while I was studying in Oslo. This is how I tell stories. I go back to the beginning. I was studying in Oslo, met Bridget and a couple of other friends in Berlin, and we realised that the waiter had an Australian accent. So we're like, oh, that's fun, you know. He came over, said, yeah, we're here on holiday. I said, I'm here from Oslo where I've been studying. He said, no way, a friend of mine is currently studying in Oslo. It was someone in the same course as me. And just to be sure, like just to be clear, there were only 9 people in this course in
Yes.
Oslo. Like, it was not a lot of people at all. And for some reason, in this completely random restaurant in Berlin, like it wasn't, you know, an Australian pub or something, random restaurant in Berlin.
It was recommended, I think it was recommended to us, the restaurant, by either the tour guide or our hostel. But yeah.
It was recommended by the guy in Oslo. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. Coincidence down. Yeah, and it was just completely random.
Yeah. I mean, that was...
This guy knew that a guy that I'd only known for about a month. So it's not like this person I'd known forever either. This was really weird.
That was pretty amazing. I mean, also the fact that it came up, like, that you did know a person, you had a person in common.
Yeah.
And that it came up in conversation, because we
could
might
have
not have
easily
said
been
something.
talking about Vegemite, right? I mean, you know, just whatever Australians happen to talk about overseas where they never talk about it here.
Yeah, I miss Tim Tams, stuff like that.
Yeah, I did.
You can get Tim Tams in the UK, by the way, in
Can't get
local
them in Oslo.
supermarkets.
Can't get them in Norway.
Well, no one's going to go there to live.
I did.
Very temporarily.
Anyway, so do you have any weird coincidence stories?
Well, actually, when I was in Munich, and I know this show has kind of seemed a bit like, you know, oh, well, when I was here and when I was in this city, but I went to Munich and I was traveling. This was on my 3-week trip that I did on my own. So I was staying in an 8-bed dorm at a hostel, and there was another girl staying in the dorm, and she was from Campbelltown. And so we didn't really drink alcohol, so we didn't want to go on the full-on pub crawl because people tend to get pretty trashed. So we decided to go to a beer hall, and we just had 1 beer because that's all we could take. But anyway...
Because that's all we could afford.
Beer's pretty cheap over there. But anyway, a few months later, after I'm back, like a good few months later, 6 or 8 months later, I'm at Central Station late at night. I was taking a class, so I was about to go home. I'm standing on the platform and I see this girl using the payphone, and it's the same girl who was staying in my dorm.
I'm not going to shock somebody who's using the payphone.
Oh, yeah, that too. But I didn't say hi. She sort of just, I don't know where she went. Went off the platform. Not onto the tracks. That would have taken a different
Definitely a
turn.
sliding doors moment, that one.
I think she just went down to the ticket area. I don't know. But that was just I was standing there on the platform like, that is weird.
Yeah,
You know?
well, we have got some feedback from Facebook. One of our listeners, Karen, has said that maybe not so much fate or destiny, but she does believe in signs.
Signs, yeah. I've heard that before from her.
Somebody else has said there's no fate, it's just what we make for ourselves. Somebody else said in response to my comment that I worked really hard to get results. You didn't look like you were working hard at all.
Who's that directed to?
That was directed at me.
I got that message as well.
It was directed at both of us.
We work hard.
We do work hard.
All right, I don't work that hard. But
I work hard.
I don't mean that, I leave it up to fate. I just... Maybe I had a slightly different idea of the exact definition.
I defined fate.
Yes,
for you. We
helped
started
it out.
with this.
That changed my...
It was a noun. You knew what fate was.
It was a noun, yes. That clears it all up.
It's all fine. Yeah. So, meanwhile, we'll be coming back to talk about coincidences and fate a little more. In the meantime, here's some more song requests. This is for Stephanie.
Yes.
Firstly, well, this was requested for Stephanie. It's a theme song from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And then we've got Steph's request, which is Good Riddance by Green Day on 2BACR 100.9. And you're back.
On Wednesday night Zombie Fever.
On 2BACR.
100.9 FM. Smooth. Oh, yeah. Very smooth.
Yeah, so we've had some kind of dilemmas. Steph says she didn't hear Green Day. Another person said, I played 2 Green Day songs. I did.
I don't remember, but I was on
played
Facebook.
Good Riddance and 21 Guns, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Just to be sure, this is what Good Riddance sounds like. And I'm pretty sure I played that. Because it's playing, which means I've got it, and it's in the playlist.
All right. I didn't hear it, so I don't know.
Okay, well, we can play that for Steph at the end of tonight's show.
Which is coming up very, very shortly.
Yeah, it's coming up in about a Green Day length of time. Anyway. Yeah, see? Karen agrees. I played 2 Green Day songs. Yeah.
Okay.
Get your listening ears on, Steph.
Thank you all for listening tonight, minus a co-host who actively
actively criticised us the
feedback.
entire night.
Well,
and didn't listen for a song request.
Well, I wouldn't
Maybe
say
I
that
should
she...
say that. For everybody's song request that I haven't played, I'll say, no, I played it, you weren't listening.
I wouldn't say that she actively criticised us all night, but I mean, come on,
No,
we do need
actively
feedback.
for half the night, passively the rest of it.
It's not
Yeah.
like... Okay, we'll leave that.
Yeah, so keep all of the conversation going on Facebook. The question is, do you believe in fate?
Yes.
Yeah, so fate, destiny, all of that. How do you control your future and things? And if you can give us any examples or any experiences of why... do you have a request for... Someone wants us to recite a poem or tell us a joke.
Okay.
How about this one? Okay, here's a joke.
Right.
I can't remember how it starts though, so give me a second.
Can I tell a joke?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. There are 2 muffins in an oven. One of them says, "Ah, we're going to die." The other muffin says, "Ah, a talking muffin." There you go.
That's a good one. So 2 guys run into each other in the street. One of them has a bag full of... I can't remember what it is.
Cocaine?
No! It was a bag full of, I don't know, squirrels or something. Let's go with squirrels. The other guy says, "Hey, mate, can I have one?" And then the other guy goes, "I'll tell you what, if you can tell me how many are in there, I'll give you both."
Oh.
That's a joke. Okay, this is why we don't tell jokes.
Lame
Speak
joke
to us in
Wednesday.
Chinese. Ni hao.
What she said.
What, Rachel? Just trying to remember how to say the time.
Who is forcing us to do this?
Xi Dian 58 is the time.
I can speak some
There you
German.
go, guys. So what about the reciting a poem? I've got to find a poem. What happens if I type poem into Google? What comes up?
Is that 2 roads diverged?
2 roads diverge in a yellow wood.
Yes, in a yellow wood.
Yes.
That's it. There you go. That's all I
That's
remember.
the poem.
Yeah. It's
Give
part
me
of
a
a poem.
topic.
What?
Give me a topic. What is not a topic? Just name.
A rainforest.
Fate. How about fate? Wait, is fate on my list? That'd be awesome.
Why are we doing this? It's like 11 o'clock and we've got to play.
Okay, fate's not on my list. I'll get you a poem for next week. Next week, Bridget and Stephanie will be off in Japan.
Konnichiwa.
Yeah, there you go.
That's not Chinese.
So in addition to reciting some poetry, I'll be able to do all the things that they won't let me do when I'm here. For example, I wanted to read excerpts from books. I wanted to have story time with Rachel. They said, no, that segment is stupid.
Fred Bassett? Was this the Fred Bassett type?
It was, because you two were against it.
Hello, Hamish and Andy lawsuit.
Well, we're not going to be calling it that. At the moment, I am reading some Dan Brown's. Maybe I'll read out some of that for all of you. Hello, Dan Brown lawsuit.
Sounds exciting.
It will be. So, tune in next week with me and some surprise co-hosts. We will be continuing some of this discussion on fate because it seems to get people going. And we definitely played Good Riddance.
All right.
We played it. But you know what? I'm going to play it again for you, Steph. So pay attention. Have a great week. Remember, you can catch me from 7 to 9 Mondays and Tuesday mornings on 2BACR, and we'll be next week we'll be back from 9 to 11, you've been listening to Wednesday Night Zombie Fever. Stop waving, they can't see you on 2BACR 100.9 FM.
See ya.